Jesse Motlop. Let's talk about Jesse Motlop for the upcoming 2024 AFL season. A remarkable talent, this guy. And he's already experienced things in his early career that most experience a little later. And I think that's a testament to the talent that he has and what he's been able to produce. So 33 games in total, 36 goals in total. He is our pick 27 in the 2021 national draft. And if we have a look at his 2023 season, he played 21 games. It's a pretty good return for what was a second-year player. And I felt like he actually started relatively well. And then along with the team, dipped in form, dropped in confidence. I do remember at the midpoint of the season, he had signed his 2-year contract extension, and his form sort of started dipping after that. I don't know if it was linked, but I've always felt with Jesse, in the way that I viewed him, was to put the brakes on him a little bit and put the brakes on the expectations, and particularly last year because it was his second year. And I mean, they're so young, they're still teenagers at this point in their careers, and, they're learning how to be professionals. And I really felt like we shouldn't have been putting too much expectation on him. And I actually, because of that, enjoyed his season more. And that's something I learned, over the years doing this, not to put so much expectation on particularly the first to 3-4 year players. And that's something I try and do. But to be honest, I thought he held his own in season 2023. Yeah, he had some games where he was a bit down on form, but that's to be expected from someone of his experience. Forget about the age for a moment there. It's just his experience, and particularly in that small forward position. But once he came back, and you got to remember, he played nearly every game except for round 7 up until round 13. Then he was dropped after Essendon. Then he was back. If you remember, he was the sub against Port Adelaide, and he was a late inclusion. I believe Matt Owies was the one that came out. I think the calf was tight in the warm-up, something like that. But Jesse came in, kicked 4 goals in the first half, and I'm thinking, wow. It's always interesting to see how players respond when they first come into the side after being dropped for a while. And he stayed in the side thereafter for every game, and that was the story of his year. And like I said earlier, it's, he's put through a situation, bit of adversity, whether it's form, confidence, the body. I mean, it's a brutal game. He's a young player, but he was able to come back and really start being more consistent with his output. He kicked 2 goals in all bar 3 of the remaining games. One was the prelim, one was the first final against the Swans, and the other was round 22 against the D's. Otherwise, he kicked 2 goals in every game after that. So like I said, with a small forward, with our small forwards in particular, they seem to take turns. And it's a very hard position to be consistent in. And that's the challenge for him. But he ends up kicking 24 goals for the year from 21 games. It's a pretty good output. And this was in a year where we didn't have a recognised small forward who was putting 25 plus goals on the board. And that's kind of what we need. I spoke about it a little bit with Jack Silvani, and I think Motlop is in this group of players who, if we can get 4, 5 of them would be great, but 4 of them in particular kicking, 20 to 25 plus in a year, then I think that will elevate the team, because our top end is really good when it comes to goal kickers. I mean, I think, what's Jesse's ceiling? I mean, it's only been 2 seasons. I don't even know what his ceiling is. He's that talented. He seems to have the work ethic to match the talent. And over the time, that compounds and that becomes a great player. Does he end up spending more time in the midfield? I don't know. We'll see what the journey holds. But, in the upcoming 2024 season, it's his third year. He's already got finals experience under the belt. I don't see why 30 goals is an unreasonable target for him. I mean, 20 plus games, obviously you want to play every game, but 20 plus games, I think 30 goals, he's more than capable of doing it. I feel like coming into the 3rd season, he's going to be able to, withstand the rigors of the week to week of the AFL. He gets more comfortable and acclimatized with the professional environment. And I just think the sky's the limit and anything's possible. He may go beyond 30 goals and he may, I feel like he will become a 45, 50 goal a year forward. That's the kind of talent I think we have on our hands right now. But less about the individual, obviously more about the team. His consistency is a big one. If he can just continue to, have those double-digit possessions. And possessions is not everything, but I think with someone like Jesse, the more he has the ball in his hands, generally speaking, the more something exciting and something magical happens. And that's kind of an indicator that I'll look for. When he dips under 10 possessions, I would say most of the time he's just not impacting as much. And I think once he rounds that part out to his game, gets a bit more of the ball every game, he'll only become a better player because he uses it well and he damages. So, yeah, looking forward to another installment of Jesse Motlop. It's almost feel like he's been here for a while. It's only been 2 seasons, but it just fits. Wears the number 3 perfectly, represents it very well, and very excited about what Jesse's capable of. What about you? What do you think we can expect from Jesse Motlop in season 2024? Leave a prediction in the comments below.